So today I'm going to show you how to make a coil pot template. You'll use this while you build your pot to help you create the shape of your walls. Before you begin, make sure you have some design ideas in mind that you're happy with. You want to kind of have a plan before you begin actually making this final copy. Look also to your research examples and think about what elements are going to add visual interest to your form. Things like hard changes of direction, soft change of direction, adding curves like S-curves or concave curves, or using continuous curves. So you want to avoid little bumps, high points, and low points. So think about your design fully as you draw. To start, you'll need a ruler and a pencil. You'll also need a stiff piece of paper like this piece of poster board I have. Also a piece of cardboard would work, or a great option at home is just using cereal box cardboard. It's really smooth and sturdy and a little easier to cut. If you don't have a ruler handy, you can just get a piece of paper and fold it in half a couple of times and use this just as a straight edge. To begin with, we need a line of symmetry down the center. You can draw a line with a ruler or just fold it in half. Next up, use your straight edge and draw a horizontal line at the bottom representing the base of the pot. You can make this line any width. You also need to make a line at the top, but first you need to determine the height of the pot. Now this is a really important consideration. You might be limited based on space in the studio or storage space. So look at a ruler and measure how tall is the maximum height of your pot and mark a line so you know exactly where that height is. I like to turn my paper to make lines a little easier to draw, so go ahead and draw a line representing where the rim is going to be on the pot. Again, this is just a parameter defining the space limitations. Now I'm going to put some little marks on my paper representing the width of the rim and the width of the foot of the pot. I want to choose widths that are not the same. You don't want to have the width of the rim exactly the same as the foot. You want to have something a little bit more interesting and dynamic. So make the foot wider or narrower than the rim. Either way is up to you. Also, make sure you're choosing a design that you think will be stable and possible to actually build. I always start my drawings by designing a foot statement. I typically do a little bevel like this because it creates a shadow on the table that's nice. Now for my pot, I'm going to have a nice sweeping S-curve along the bottom, and then I'm going to bring it up to a shoulder point 3/4 up. Notice I place a dot there, so I have kind of a connect the dots feeling. When you draw, think about your wrist and arm movement to get a consistent line, and start loosely roughing that line in. Slowly bring the point of your pencil down until you're confident that the line is where you want it, and then you can darken it. If you mess up, don't just erase, just draw over top of your mistake. The placement for my transition point at the top here is about 1/3 from the top of the pot. I'm just paying tribute to the rule of thirds, so consider options like that as you design your pot as well. I've defined my rim with a similar angle that I use on my foot, and I'm going to connect the shoulder to the rim with a concave curve. To do this, I'm turning my paper to make my wrist movement a little bit more natural. This allows me to draw a better line. Anywhere on the profile of your pot where you have a corner or a hard edge transition, you want to draw a horizontal line there to represent that line that will result on your form. Use a straight edge for this. You can then use your ruler to measure how far your transition point is from the center line, then place a mark on the other side of the line of symmetry. This will help you draw a little bit more easily, again, that connect the dots idea. Now begin to draw the other side of your pot. Rotate your paper any way as needed to make this more comfortable to draw. A final consideration before we cut out our template is to think, will this actually work? Can I build this with coils? If you have any areas of your wall that are angled too steeply, in other words, too horizontal, you're going to have some structural issues. Think about how the coils will be stacked as we construct our wall. Can the coils actually stay on top of each other? If it's too horizontal, they'll literally fall off. If you see a problem area, it's a lot easier to fix it on paper than after you've started making the project. So modify your design as needed. So when you're done, we're going to cut out our template. Start by removing any paper below the base of your pot. If you're using cardboard, be sure to cut safely. If you're using poster board or maybe even cereal box cardboard, you can fold it in half and cut through both layers at the same time. This will give you a perfectly symmetrical pot. So the center part that remains is the pot itself. We don't actually need that. That can just help you see what it looks like. We want to remove one of the sides of our template. This is the part we actually need. That's the template. Notice how the template perfectly aligns with the side profile of the pot. What we're going to do is, as we build this, we're going to hold it against our clay to verify that our clay is following our design form. So be sure to keep this template.